There comes a moment in life when silence becomes louder than words, a moment when the world fades away and you are left with nothing but yourself. No distractions, no noise, just you and your thoughts. And in that silence, one question echoes: who do you talk to when you are alone? For the longest time, I believed that loneliness was a curse. I thought that being alone meant being abandoned. But life has a way of teaching us lessons in the most unexpected ways. It was in the darkest moments of my life, when no one was around, when there was no applause, no validation, that I truly met myself. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what kind of conversations do you have with yourself? Do you speak with love, or do you criticize yourself for every mistake? Do you tell yourself that you are enough? Or do you constantly remind yourself of what you lack? Because, my dear friends, the way you talk to yourself when you are alone shapes the way you see the world. The conversations we have with ourselves shape our identity, our confidence, and the way we navigate life. Every thought, every word we speak to ourselves becomes a building block in the foundation of who we are. Many people don't realize how powerful these inner conversations are. The way we speak to ourselves determines whether we move forward with courage or stay stuck in fear, whether we believe in our potential or constantly doubt ourselves. Imagine waking up every morning and telling yourself, I am not good enough, I am not capable, I always fail. How do you think that will affect your actions? If you repeatedly convince yourself that you are incapable, you will hesitate to take risks, avoid challenges, and miss opportunities for growth. Your negative self-talk becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. You create the very reality you fear. Now imagine waking up and saying, I am learning, I am growing, I am capable of handling whatever comes my way. This mindset will push you to take action, to believe in your abilities, and to see failures as lessons rather than limitations. The way you talk to yourself defines how you see your potential, and that perception ultimately shapes your reality. We must learn to be aware of the words we use when we speak to ourselves. Too often, people allow self-doubt and negativity to dominate their thoughts. They focus on their weaknesses rather than their strengths. They replay past mistakes instead of recognizing how much they have learned. But here's the truth. You are not your mistakes, and you are not your failures. You are a work in progress, constantly evolving, and the way you talk to yourself should reflect that growth. Your self-talk should be filled with hope, encouragement, and kindness. Think about it. If you had a friend who constantly criticized you, put you down, and reminded you of all your failures, would you want to spend time with them? Of course not. So why treat yourself that way? Why not be the friend to yourself that you wish others would be? This doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or pretending everything is perfect. Growth requires self-awareness. But there is a difference between constructive self-reflection and destructive self-criticism. Instead of saying, I am terrible at this, say, I need more practice and I will improve. Instead of, I am a failure, say, this was a setback, but I will try again. Small shifts in language can make a huge difference in the way you see yourself and your abilities. The most powerful conversations you will ever have are the ones you have with yourself. If you speak with love and confidence, you will walk through life with strength. If you fill your mind with doubt and fear, you will struggle to take even the first step. So choose your words wisely. Let your self-talk be a source of motivation, not limitation. Because at the end of the day, the conversations you have with yourself are shaping the person you are becoming. Make sure they are shaping someone you are proud to be. The way you talk to yourself when you are alone plays a crucial role in shaping your reality. Your thoughts, your words, and your inner dialogue create the lens through which you see the world. Often we underestimate the power of self-talk, but it is one of the most influential forces in our lives. It can either build us up or tear us down. Your mind is like a garden, and your words are the seeds. If you plant negativity, insecurity, and self-doubt, that is what will grow. But if you plant words of encouragement, love, and resilience, you will create a mindset that supports you even in difficult times. Every day, you have the choice to either uplift yourself or bring yourself down. The more you engage in self-talk that is constructive, the more you build inner strength. One of the most powerful habits you can develop is mindful self-talk. Being aware of the words you tell yourself and choosing them wisely. When faced with a challenge, instead of saying, "I can't do this," try saying, "This is difficult, but I will figure it out." When you feel like a failure, remind yourself, "I am learning, and every failure brings me closer to success." These small changes in the way you talk to yourself will have a huge impact on your confidence, happiness, and overall success. Life will not always be kind, and people will not always be there to encourage you. This is why it is important to be your own source of strength. The way you speak to yourself during your lowest moments will determine how quickly you rise again. You are capable, you are strong, and you are enough, but you must believe it first. And that belief starts with the words you choose to tell yourself. Your self-talk is not just a reflection of who you are, it is a tool to shape who you become. Choose your words wisely, because the conversations you have with yourself are creating your reality every single day. Being alone is often misunderstood. Many people associate it with loneliness, sadness, or even failure. We grow up believing that having people around us at all times is a sign of happiness and success, but life doesn't work that way. There will be moments when we find ourselves alone, whether by choice or by circumstance. And in those moments, we have a decision to make. We can see loneliness as a curse, or we can embrace it as a teacher. When we are constantly surrounded by others, we often get caught up in their opinions, their expectations, and their influence. We rarely get the chance to listen to our own thoughts, to understand who we truly are. But when we are alone, we have the opportunity to connect with ourselves on a deeper level. It is in solitude that we discover our strengths, confront our fears, and learn the most valuable lessons about life. Some of the greatest minds in history have spoken about the power of solitude. It is in moments of silence that creativity flourishes, self-awareness deepens, and personal growth begins. When we stop relying on external distractions, we start relying on ourselves. We began to realize that we do not need constant validation to feel worthy, nor do we need the presence of others to feel complete. Everything we need is already within us. However, many people fear being alone because it forces them to face their inner struggles. When you are alone, there is no one to distract you from your thoughts, no one to shift the focus away from your emotions. This can be uncomfortable, even painful, but avoiding these moments only delays the inevitable. True growth happens when we stop running from our own company and start embracing it. Being alone teaches us resilience. When we learn to enjoy our own company, we become independent, emotionally strong, and self-sufficient. We stop seeking happiness in others and start finding it within ourselves. We no longer depend on people to fill the emptiness inside us, because we understand that we were never empty to begin with. We just needed to recognize our own worth. Solitude also gives us clarity in a world filled with noise, opinions, and endless distractions. Taking time to be alone allows us to reflect on what truly matters. It helps us separate what is important from what is not. It allows us to listen to our own voice instead of being influenced by the voices of others. When we embrace solitude, we gain a sense of direction, purpose, and inner peace. So instead of fearing loneliness, we should learn to appreciate it. Instead of seeing it as a burden, we should recognize it as an opportunity. Because the truth is, we are never truly alone. We have ourselves, and that is enough. The relationship we build with ourselves in moments of solitude will determine how we navigate the rest of our lives. Loneliness is not a curse. It is a chance to grow, to heal, and to become the person we were always meant to be. In life, we are surrounded by many voices. Voices of family, friends, society, and even strangers. They tell us what we should do, how we should live, and who we should be. But among all these voices, there is one that is more powerful than any other, our own. The way we speak to ourselves determines how we see the world, how we handle challenges, and how we define our self-worth. When everything is going well, it is easy to feel confident and positive. But what happens when things fall apart? What happens when we fail, when we are criticized, or when life takes an unexpected turn? In those moments, the voice inside our heads becomes the most important one. It can either lift us up or tear us down. It can be our greatest strength or our worst enemy. Many people don't realize that they are engaged in self-talk every single day. The conversations we have with ourselves influence our emotions, decisions, and actions. If we constantly tell ourselves that we are not good enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough, we start to believe it. These negative thoughts shape our reality and limit our potential. We become prisoners of our own minds, unable to break free from the doubt and fear we have created. But what if we change the way we talk to ourselves? What if instead of criticizing, we encourage? Instead of saying, I can't do this, we say, I will find a way. Instead of I'm a failure, we say, I'm learning and growing. Words have power. The words we tell ourselves shape our self-image, and our self-image shapes our destiny. It is important to remember that no one in this world will always be there to motivate us. People will come and go. Some will support us while others will doubt us. But the one person who will always be with us is ourselves. That is why we must learn to be our own source of encouragement. We must become our own cheerleader, our own motivator, and our own best friend. This does not mean that we should ignore our mistakes or avoid self-reflection. Growth comes from recognizing our flaws and working on them. But there is a difference between constructive self-talk and destructive self-criticism. Constructive self-talk says, I made a mistake, but I can improve. Destructive self-criticism says, I made a mistake, so I am a failure. The first leads to progress. The second leads to self-doubt and inaction. Life is unpredictable. There will be days when things don't go as planned. There will be moments of disappointment and heartbreak. But in those moments, listen to your own voice. Make sure it is a voice of strength, not weakness. A voice of courage, not fear. A voice that reminds you of your worth even when the world tries to make you forget it. In life, we are surrounded by many voices. Voices of family, friends, society, and even strangers. They tell us what we should do, how we should live, and who we should be. But among all these voices, there is one that is more powerful than any other, our own. The way we speak to ourselves determines how we see the world, how we handle challenges, and how we define our self-worth. When everything is going well, it is easy to feel confident and positive. But what happens when things fall apart? What happens when we fail, when we are criticized, or when life takes an unexpected turn? In those moments, the voice inside our heads becomes the most important one.